What's good, everybody? Look, y'all know who I am, but for those who don't know, I go by the name of Gabriel Ori, and this is my business partner co-host.
What's up, y'all? JR Johnson.
Listen, man, this is another beautiful day. JR, how was your day, brother?
Like you said, beautiful. It was great, man. No
Yeah.
complaints at all, man. But we had lost a loved one, and
Right.
kind of still going through that though. But God is good. I'm thankful for the life my uncle was able to share with us on while here. But I'm still we're keeping on, man.
Yeah. I remember when you posted that, or you told me that.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, man, I know when we think about death, you have to put life in there too, life
Yeah.
and death. Everyone's gonna leave here at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to live your life to the fullest. How old was your uncle?
Early '80s.
Okay.
Yeah,
He had
early
a
'80s.
good full life, man. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's what I
that's a
said. Yeah.
blessing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a blessing. They say, you see these grays in my hair, if you can make it to see some gray hairs, uh either you're doing something right or
Right.
you're doing something right. Live your life. I don't want to say to the fullest because some people might take that in a different manner, but like, live your life in a way that you can see some grays. You can get old, and not old in a way like people associate weakness with old. I'm associating wisdom uh,
Yeah.
with age and maturity. So that's good, man. So for me, today was just a hectic day. I actually took a COVID test today. Bruh, is COVID still?
Ain't going nowhere, man.
I felt like Joe Biden. Like, gotta take this test. But I was negative. My daughter was negative, so
Yeah, that's good.
we all good. So listen, man, this is another jam-packed episode. Listen, share this video. Hit share on the video. Tag anybody that's doing something. We call this show As a Producer, and even though we're into music, this show is not only about music. It's about producing positivity in life. Whatever you're producing, whatever it is, you can be chef. You good on that grill. You can be good on that court. Whatever you're producing in life, just make sure it's positive. Make sure it's something that's going to impact not only you but your community. And that's the type of people that we like to bring on. And tonight is no different. JR, take us away.
Speaking of court, man, I got a good friend that's coming on here. He told me that I told him he didn't look like he played basketball, man. I wish I never said that. We go way back since 2000, early 2000, maybe 99. I think 99. But anyway, he and I went to school together, Boo Nation, Winthrop University, and he's been doing a lot in the community. He been a part of a radio show. He's a comedian, very funny guy, and so much more, man. I just want to bring him on all the way from Columbia, now in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I want to bring him onto the stage. Wafeeq.
Woo!
What up? What up?
What's up, boss?
good brothers?
What's
I'm good,
going
man.
on, my guy?
I'm happy to be here.
Appreciate
Nice,
it.
nice. Now I know offline, man. We kind of talked about your name. Can you, for our audience, pronounce your name for us? Say your whole full government, man.
Yeah. It's Wafeeq Zarif.
Nice. Wafeeq, and what's the middle one?
Isan.
Isan. Is there a meaning to the names that you could share?
Yeah, Wafeeq means leader, and I'm sorry, Zarif means leader, and Wafeeq means he who strives. And so if you put it together, Isan is kind of like it's kind of like a linking word. You know what I mean? It's kind of like and, like
Mm.
a preposition. So you put it together,
Mm,
it's lead, he who strives and leads.
that's a. I want to pause right there. It's. Tell me what you think about this, Wafeeq. Like, I feel like when you name a thing
Mm.
or a
A
person, right?
person.
Like a human, that you have a baby, you put a name on them. The name that you give your child is important.
Yeah.
I believe that, like your name. I like how you broke down your name. He who strives, leader, right? Do you feel that name, or do you feel that you are becoming your name, or do you feel that it's just a name and it has nothing to do with anything?
No, I most definitely feel like it's something that's very important. It's something I have to live up to. I've been told about it all my life, and it's something I've been trying to live up to all my life. I didn't really start living in that purpose until probably right around the time I met JR, which was 1999, 99,
Yeah,
2000 is when I
99.
really started to
Mm.
really come into that.
Mm.
Nice, nice, nice,
Yeah,
dope.
man. So you I know I don't think I ever asked you, but don't you have siblings?
Yeah, I have two brothers, two
Okay.
sisters.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you the oldest or middle or youngest?
I'm the oldest. I'm the
Okay.
oldest. Yes, the oldest. So it's good
And,
and
Hey,
bad in that. You get the good is you get the biggest portion of food whenever there's dinner time. That's what my
yeah.
grandparents would always do. But if it's bad if you don't like the food, and you have to bear the responsibility for all the other siblings. So whatever they did
mm,
bad, I had to take the blame for. Why'd you let your brother get lost in the mall? I'm like, yo, what do you mean? Why I let him? He's 2 years younger than me. He's a human being. He knows what to do. Why am I
Yeah.
getting a beating because he got lost?
You know how
so
that goes in the black family. Everybody
before
gonna
we
get a
jump
little.
into that, so what we do when we give the introduction, we allow the guests a chance to introduce themselves in their own way. So why don't you introduce yourself to our platform in your own way?
Okay, well, I'm Wafeeq Zarif. I am a comedian and journalist. Journalist by trade, comedian professionally. I perform comedy all up and down the whole East Coast. I've been in New York, Charlotte, Raleigh, North Carolina is where I'm based, down to Atlanta, and I'm working on moving into the LA market pretty soon as well. I'm all over social media at Wafeeq Zarif. If you want to know how to spell it, it should be showing on your screens. Comedian Wafeeq Zarif on YouTube. So go and follow me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's where I put all my content.
Now, so have you always been in the comedian world? Wanted to be well, I'll say it this way.
Yeah,
Have
when
you
I
always wanted to be a comedian?
uh, No, I haven't always wanted to be a comedian because the reason I went to college at Winthrop University, you see, I got the shirt on, is
Yeah.
because I was doing what I was told to do. That's what my mother and my grandparents just assumed that I would do. But it wasn't. I didn't really want to be a comedian until I got to maybe my third or fourth year at Winthrop, and I started to realize people would tell me you should do stand up comedy. A few of my friends, Rashad Newsom, Mario Washington, they're like, yo, you should do stand up comedy. That's when I started thinking about it. But I would say I've
Mm.
been in the comedy world since the seventh grade when this dude named Marcus Coleman tried to jump me, jack me up on the wall, and I distracted him by saying something funny, and he forgot to finish trying to intimidate me. So I was like, yo, I'm nice with the verbiage. I like this. And I've just been funny ever since. And then when I got to my senior year in high school, girls started responding to it. And I said, okay, yo, this is my lane. If I make them laugh, I can get attention from girls. I like this.
Now
So
oh, my bad, Jr. So most comedians, like growing up when you have a house full of siblings, that's kind of where it starts from. You start snapping on each other. Um, so how much of that? Because you said you got out of a situation, with intimidation by making the guy laugh, and then you realize that, oh, if you make the females laugh, you kind of get that attention. Now, how much of it the comedy was used for the girls and for the attention, and then for just the pure laughs, and just being funny.
90%. It was 90% for the females because that's what pretty much drives everything with
Yeah.
males until we get married. So it was 90% for the ladies. That's what it was all about. And I always had something to say, so I was marginalized and told you shouldn't be talking. Nobody wants to hear from you. Know what I mean? You know how it goes with bullies and stuff like that. Until I started fighting
Mhm.
back. But then I realized with the comedy thing, it would put the spotlight on me and make people pay attention to me. And then I would let them know my agenda, whatever it was that I wanted them to know about Islam, black people, my life, or whatever it was.
So what was it that you was majoring in before you decided to go into comedy?
Say that again.
What were you majoring in before you decided to go into comedy?
Oh, mass communications
Ah,
with a
so,
concentration in broadcast journalism.
so did your grand were they upset when you decided to change?
No, no, they weren't. It
Be-
was really just my mother. You know, she would be the only one that would have anything to say about it. But by the time I decided to really focus on comedy, I was pretty much an adult. So she didn't really have much to
Ah,
say. It was like, all right, as long
yeah,
as you're eating, it's good. She
yeah.
still has a little something. She's like, so when I tell her I'm going to a show, she'll say something like, so are you going to just keep doing this? You know, and I know what that means. Are you just going to keep doing the comedy thing? You know, she'd be like, because you know, some comedians have other jobs. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to keep doing this because I don't really want to go and get a regular job.
that's so. Quick question. Um, you was in college for mass communications. Did you drop out of college, or did you just is it, you didn't switch, right? You just dropped out, or did you complete it?
No, no, I ended up transferring to from Winthrop to Benedict College because my mother she taught there, and I just finished up over there because I could go for free. But I kind of did after school. I got a couple internships at some newspapers and did the whole reporting thing, and I realized I don't really like this. I never really liked any job I had. I never really felt fulfilled unless I was doing comedy or producing something creative. I was just working other people's jobs because that was the program that I was indoctrinated into. You go to a 4 year school and get that degree, and then that's just going to make everything all right. But I've learned that's not the case at all. If I had it all to do again, I would never even go to college. I would go straight to New York and start doing comedy at age 18.
Hmm.
But I finished up, but I got into comedy after working some years in the regular workforce.
So walk us through your first comedy routine or
Yeah.
show. How was that for you? Was you nervous? And did you get paid to do it? How'd you get your start in that whole thing?
Okay. All right. I'll tell you the answer to your first question. No, I was not nervous. And I tell people this, I haven't really been nervous since I was in college. I wasn't nervous at all because one thing that makes me good at I studied a lot of comedy before I got into it. And that's both good and bad. It caused me to get into it late, a lot later than most people do. But I was very much
Hmm.
prepared when I got into it because I studied it for so long. So I really knew what to expect, and I wasn't nervous because I've been through so much rejection in my life that I just really don't care anyway. So I mean, and that's good. You know, I worked in sales for a long time too, and one thing that made me so good at sales is I had no fear of rejection because I just don't care. And I ended up having to train people on the sales process. I sold stuff for Spectrum, it's the cable company, and I would tell people, your first homework assignment is I want all of the
Yeah.
fellas this weekend to go out and go to wherever the bars and the clubs are in your area, and I want you to talk to some women, and I want you to get phone numbers from the women and get them to try to go out with you. And for the ladies, yours is going to be a little more because you know you can walk into any room and just point to a guy. He's going to give you his number. I need you to go out and try to get every man to buy you something, right? And what you're going to end up doing is getting rejected by a lot of people, and that's going to make you numb. And once you get numb to that rejection, you no longer fear rejection. Then you're free to be
Yeah.
great. So I wasn't nervous when I started doing comedy because I had been rejected so much going all the way back to high school that I really just didn't care. So there was no fear at all. I just went on stage and told some ideas and jokes that I had in my head. I didn't get paid because nobody starts off getting paid in this industry. You have to work your way to that. But it was very much exciting. The audience did laugh at some of my jokes. They didn't laugh at everything. The joke that they did laugh at was a joke I have on the higher the crime rate in the neighborhood, the better the food. And I talked about how I wasn't comfortable in that neighborhood because I didn't know where I was going to get dinner from after the show because it was too clean. So I mean, that's why you always find churches in the hood, and that's why churches is so good because it's in the hood. So that's the first joke they laughed at, and from there it just kind of steamrolled. I learned the process and kept at it.
Church's chicken.
Yeah, church is chicken.
Now,
Church's chicken.
who are some of your biggest comedian influencers? Who do you look up to?
No, I got a top five that
Okay.
influenced me the absolute most. The number one is a guy they don't want us talking about anymore, but it's Bill Cosby from the Cosby Show. He's number one. He's the most influential comedian in my life because that's who I grew up with. He was kind of like a father for me since I didn't have my father in the house. Number two is Eddie Murphy. Number three is Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal really helped to shape a lot of my viewpoints on men and women and the interactions between the two. Number four is Chris Rock. He's the first comedian that I ever came across that said, yo, this dude is a really great comedian. Because I didn't even know Bill Cosby was a stand-up comedian until I was already an adult. And number five is a guy most people don't really expect. It's a white dude named Jim Gaffigan. He's amazing. He's my fifth favorite comedian. But those are my top five. They influenced me the most.
Wow. Now, I know.
Oh, you know it.
All of them except for the last one.
You don't know Jim?
Maybe see the face. Oh. If I see the face, but
he's nice too.
So I know you said Chris Rock. How did you feel about the situation? I know it ain't talking about it no more, but how did you feel about that situation with him and Will Smith?
It's fortunate that my mother would read to me and my brothers growing up. So I ended up, when I went to public school in the second grade, I was reading at a higher grade level and I had a bigger vocabulary. And that's fortunate because if I didn't, I would answer your question with a lot of profanity right now because I think it was a B word, A word move, and that MF should have been dealt with. That's what I would say if I didn't have the vocabulary that I have. So because I do, I won't curse all up and down on your platform. And I would say I think it was a very disappointing, a very pathetic, and a very weak move from a man who's suffering from depression, and that's Will Smith.
Yeah.
Wow. So speaking of words and letters and acronyms, we will BRB. Be right back. After this short break, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go nowhere. When we come back, we're going to ask my brother we're going to get into some deeper talk about religion, about what he aspires to do, where he's going, in his future. All when we come back, right here, Ask a Producer. What's good, everybody? So look, y'all know who I am, but for those who don't know, I go by the name of Gabriel Ori, and listen, this is my co-host business partner.
JR, what's up, y'all?
Yo, and so look, we y'all know we doing this podcast thing. You know, y'all see it. Y'all don't want to say nothing, but I know y'all see it. But listen, we need you guys' help. We want to invite you guys to be a part of this platform, and it takes sponsors, it takes willing vessels, people to kind of put the word out there, spread the word, help us get this thing out. So that's our thing. Help us get this podcast out. We've been getting a lot of reviews of people telling us how good the pod is and how much they like it and how it impacts their lives. And we want to impact more lives. So why don't you do us a favor, man? Just join up. Click this link, join up with us, partner with us so that we can get this out to more people. JR,
and not only that, if you like what you see, you can help promote us freely. Just share it to your friends, your neighbors, through text messages, social media, and just tell the world about what we got going on here. Because look, we want to bring all the producers on here. Look, it's not about music, it's about people who just doing great things in their community, and we want to highlight their producing skills. So it takes you guys to help us to get there. So yeah, help us out.
Look, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like JR said, just share this thing. Peace.
I want to thank Jenny for inviting me here. Thank you. That's right. To this sketchy neighborhood. I mean, this neighborhood doesn't look like it has nearly enough crime for the chicken to be any good. Like, the higher the crime rate in the neighborhood, the better the food. Yes! Depending on where you live, man, murder, robbery, and drug dealing are considered to be herbs and spices. That is not a plastic sneeze guard in that Chinese restaurant. That's bulletproof glass. That's a good sign, man, that your Chinese, soul food, and Jamaican restaurant will be top notch.
And we're back. So listen, if y'all were sitting under a rock, we're rocking it right here with my man Wafeeq. Did I say it right? Wafeeq.
Close.
Wafeeq. And he broke down, how he got into the comedy lane, the comedy world. And before the break, I heard him say something that makes me want to go here. He was talking about how, you're kind of set up. I guess society kind of sets you up on a path that you feel like you have to go to college and you have to do these things and get a job, right? But what made your mind change? How did your mind switch to where you are at now?
Well, first, let me say what I'm about to say is my opinion. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm representing you all, and I hope no one is offended by what I'm about to say, because I know JR went to college. So if you went to college, please don't be offended by this. This is what I feel about all of that. So you asked what made my mind switch. What made my mind switch was being broke and realizing this game ain't really what it was cracked. It's not what I was led to believe it would be. So it was 2007. I'm living in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm working at Sears. Sears as the manager of the shoe department because I happened to work there when we were at college. So that was my full-time job. And I'm like, yo, I went to college so that I could be steward at ESPN. What's up with this? And the reason why I was working at Sears is because the newspaper was downsized. People stopped reading newspapers. So they let all the reporters and everybody go. And I couldn't find work anywhere else. I had to do. I didn't want to go, illegal stuff. So I got the job in the Sears. In the computer lab, I didn't even have internet in my apartment. I'm living in an apartment that's student housing, and where they put all students into an apartment. And I'm a grown man, and I'm living at this at 27 years old with roommates that are in college, and they switch out every semester. And I would borrow one of their logins to go to the computer lab at NC State. And if I didn't get one of their logins, and maybe it expired or whatever, I would press the buttons on computers to find out who forgot to log out and use that. And that was my life. And then I would talk to other people, and I know JR knows all of them, like LaTroy Gardner, everybody else, and nobody was working in the field that they studied for at Winthrop. Everybody was working except for the teachers. The teachers were the only ones. So you're one of them. Everybody else was there as some type of customer service role, as something else. That was it. And I read an article. It was written by the Secretary of Education in 2007 under the George W. Bush administration. He said, unless you go to an Ivy school, Harvard, Yale, Brown, Princeton, that type of thing, or you go to MIT, or you go to Stanford University, every other college is absolutely the same. Unless it's Ivy League, MIT, or Stanford, they're all the same no matter what they are. And he said, you'd be better off going to a school where you can specialize in something. So he said information technology, nursing, and stuff like that. And I read that and I said, yo, that's crazy because I had always been thinking that, but I never had anybody verbalize my thought. I remember 1995, we're renovating our house and we're bringing in all of these workers, plumbers, electricians, everybody, boom, coming into the house. And whatever price they gave us, my mom would have to pay and my stepdad would have to pay because they didn't know how to do that type of work. And they were getting taken by some of these guys. And I remember thinking to myself, yo, I need to do that right there. I need to learn a trade because they set their own price and nobody can dispute it. And at Fairfield Central High School at the time, it was 9th grade, and we had a vocational school. And they knew most of their students wouldn't go to college, so they would put them in the vocational school so they could learn a trade. I couldn't wait to do that. And I told my uncle, and he said, nah, you don't want to do that. Now, this is my uncle who was in the Army. Both his children went to college. One of them went to an Ivy League school. She's super smart. They know college education. They came up in the 60s, right? Where college education was the only way to make it out, right? But it's changed. And he went and told my mom, your son is a trade. Don't let him waste his life like that. It's like, nah, you're going to go hit the books or whatever. And it just didn't sit right with me, but I didn't dispute it because this is my mom and I just did what they expected me to do. But it turned out, my biggest fear turned out to be correct, that the path that they were putting me on, go to a 4-year institution, get that bachelor's degree because that's going to change your life, it's going to save you, was not built for the future that we're in right now. It was the plan in 1965 when they were in high school, but it was not the plan in 1995, 1998, 2000, where JR and I was coming up, but we couldn't see it, right? I started to see it around 2002, 3, 4, and 5. And then when I read that article, the Secretary of Education, the highest ranking teacher in the country, said, unless you go to those schools, everything else is all the same. You might as well specialize. IT, information tech. He even said HVAC work, right? These are sentiments that have been echoed by Kevin Samuels. He talked about this when he says Henry, high earner, not rich yet. He talks about 2 paths of being a Henry. You can get on the business owner side, usually HVAC, construction, or something like that. It's a shorter path to getting rich. And then when and that's what I saw, right? And I don't want to be too long, but I ended up working in a call center for Spectrum, and I'm making money selling TV, internet, house phone, and home security. And to my left, this dude that made $130,000 the previous year. He showed me his W-2. My man had nothing but a GED. To my right is a girl who went to Shaw University, Durham, North Carolina. She's working in a call center doing the same thing that myself didn't even have a degree at the time. And a dude with a GED is doing. And then I running into all of these people from Shaw University, from North Carolina State, from the University of North Carolina, all of these 4 degrees working in a call center. That's when I realized, yo, all that time we spent in college was just a waste if we weren't going to put to what we learned to use to make us money. My sister, she went to Shaw University, got a master's degree at NC State. What does she do now? Nothing. She's a housewife. Before that, she was working as a nurse. And I'm like, why aren't you using what you had our mom spend all that money for? I use it. She tell me I use my degree every day, Wafeeq. I say, no, you don't. You use the skills that your degree that you learned doing sociology, which I told you at the time was a waste of time degree. I told our moms, don't let you waste your time like that, because I learned when I was at Winthrop, sociology, psychology, these are waste of time degrees because all you can do is teach and they end up doing something else anyway. She was like, I use my skills to do all this. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't use a degree to make you any money. You might have picked up a skill here and there, but that degree does not make you any money. We would have been better off learning a trade, we would have been better off specializing in something like IT or something specialized, because the path that worked in 1965 is not the path that is best suited for people today. I'm sorry if I sound like Kanye West, but sometimes he's right.
Sometimes, yeah, yeah, sometimes he is right. And there was only three things that I can remember that I've learned at college. One, I struggle in accounting. Two, practicing music. Three, socializing and gaining new friends and hanging out with people. That's the only thing I remember from college. And what that taught me was not really nothing in the business world. Because I mean, I went to school for music. I'm not even. I mean, I went for music, and then I ended up doing it, changing it to business. I graduate, but I'm working at Walmart. So I'm stocking packages or items or whatever food inside the on the shelves, and then I move into working into a warehouse. So yeah, it's crazy how we spend all this money um, to go to school, but then you don't even do the thing after you graduate. You don't even you don't do the thing that you went to school for. And it's I guess it's life learning experience. That's pretty much what I gained out of going to school. Teach me how to
Wafeeq,
survive on my own.
Wafeeq, do you have any kids? So, in light of everything you just said, you said no. You have kids? Oh, no kids.
No, no
So,
kids.
in light of everything that you just said, how would you, I would say, advise a younger person that's in high school, and they've been kind of got the same, you know, path from 1965 or 1960? Hey, go to college, get a job. How would you advise that younger person?
I would advise them in the way that I advise my younger cousins that my aunt gets mad about. She's like, stop telling them they need to don't go to college or whatever. But I say this: the key to success is to figure out what you want to do
Hmm.
early on, as early as
Yeah.
possible, right? So if we look at everybody in the NBA, everybody, even going back to the ones that we grew up with in the 90s, what's the one thing all of them have in common? All of them picked up a basketball and started playing organized basketball and going to camps mad early. Every
Hmm.
single one of them. Kobe Bryant right out the womb. But all
Hmm.
of them got on that basketball game early, right? Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg at Harvard University realized I need to be doing Facebook. Then he dropped out. Bill Gates, early on at Harvard University, I have an idea to put a computer into everybody's home. I call it a personal computer. Dropped out at Harvard and started working on Microsoft. I don't even know if Steve Jobs even wasted his time even going to
Going to
college. I
college.
think maybe
Yeah.
he went for a semester. There you go, right? So all of these these titans of industry, all of these great people in athletics and everybody realized early on what they wanted to do. Dave Chappelle, a stand-up comedian full time at age 16. Bill Cosby at age 19. Eddie Murphy age 16. I would tell a kid today, do not get locked into the trap of doing what you are expected to do, because that's what everybody else in your family did. Number one,
Yeah.
follow your heart, right? And as quickly as possible what it is you're supposed to be doing, and then go and do it. Because it's better to fail at it early on while you still got a lot of good years left than to be in your 40s and realize you didn't pick the right career. So, regardless of what mommy and daddy say, identify what you feel you need to be doing and go and do it as early as possible. And the key, once you identify it, you have to be committed, because it's not going to be easy. You have to surround yourself with people who are doing it, who have a like mind, who want to be great at it. Surround yourself with nothing but them, listen to only them, and put yourself in the environment to do it. It could mean moving to New York City, it could mean going to LA, could mean going to Austin, Texas, somewhere, Atlanta, Georgia, but go and do it as early as possible, preferably age 18.
Nice, nice, dope. What you got going on now, man? What does it look like
What am I
for
doing
for
now?
you? Yeah.
I'm doing the comedy full time now, man. I'm doing that comedy time. That's what I'm locked into. And the reason I'm full time is because, like I said, I was doing the whole corporate job thing, and I worked for Starter Communications and Time Cable for like 9 years. I ended up getting fired a year ago. It was looking at my calendar. It was a year ago this week. I got fired, and on the way out, one of the managers who was walking me out with my box and my belongings, he was like, "Yo, I'm looking at this calendar I took off your desk. All of these shows you got in order. You need to be focused on doing that." And I said, "You know what? You're exactly right. Job was getting into doing comedy. I was listening to a lot of gigs, development, growth opportunities because this crazy job. So for the past year, I've been doing nothing but content on social media and the comedy full time. My next move is to dig even deeper into that and monetize it even greater. I got my YouTube channel popping right now on the social media, 25,500 followers on Instagram. I'm monetized on that, making some money. My next move is to get on the road and expand my brand up into New York City and down into Atlanta, and just do the comedy even more full force and look back. And I say that I did have one moment of doubt. It happened right before the show started. I found out it's going to cost $1,500 to get my car repaired. I'm like, damn, okay. So I got to figure out how to get this money because we don't have health insurance in this independent line of work. So we don't have that stuff. I got to pay for it out of pocket. But I'm not going to let that sway me. I'm going to lean into doing the comedy thing full force, man, because I've already spent so much of my life doing what everybody else said I should be doing. It's time to do what I should be doing, and I don't have kids. I got that luxury and flexibility to do that. So I just plan on taking over this comedy game and the content creation.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years?
Next year, I got a 5-year plan. Year number 1, I got to win this contest at Good Nights Comedy Club, North Carolina's funniest, to solidify myself in that club. I'm somewhat established now, but that would really solidify it. I need to do that according to my calendar next July 2025. And as soon as that is done, I'm going to go ahead and move up to New York City. I want to go up to New York now, but it's just so crazy expensive, and I got artwork and stuff behind me. I don't really want to live in an apartment with a bunch of other people because I got adult stuff up here. So I'm going to do that. But by fourth quarter 2025, I'm going to move up to New York City and then begin the process all over again, because we pretty much get our feet wet wherever we are around the country and we learn it, but we really go to New York City to learn how to really do comedy and really learn the craft. And that's where we go to really learn it and to get broken into the industry. But that's where I plan on being around this time next year, established, and doing the content creation full time. I'm pulling in some money doing that. I got this whole thing that I do, and I got my character for that. I'm really networking. But that's my 5-year plan. Step 1, get to win that contest. Step 2, get up to New York City and really incubate and learn craft in New York City, and to hit the button on all my connections to really move me into the Los Angeles scene by 2027.
Nice. Well, listen, man, we really appreciate you for coming on the platform and sharing your journey with us and with our platform. I know you said it before, but like, just repeat it again. How can you be reached? How can people follow you? What's your handles and everything?
Okay, so you can follow me on Facebook, Wafeeq Zarif. Like and follow me there. Follow me on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Wafeeq Zarif. The spelling is crazy, so look at my display on the screen to spell that. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, comedian Wafeeq Zarif. All of my show information is all on my Instagram. I'm posting on there every single day. And once you get in that, come out to my live shows. Please support.
Nice. Listen, support him, support good people, good positive energy, man. Again, we appreciate you for coming on the platform. JR, you got anything else?
Man, Feek, thank you, bro, for coming on, man. It's been a long time coming since I seen you, but it's good to see you doing great things, man. And I can see that you are one day gonna be a big time comedian if you stay on that path, man.
Sure.
Make people a believer out of what you're doing. So I'm proud of you, bro. Keep doing your thing, man.
Nice, yeah, and we got to catch a show too, man. But listen. I go by the name of Gabriel Ori. This is my business partner, co-host.
JR.
And listen, we out.